I don't have any tooth. I'll admit it. I will brag. Those players did not just go and whip that ass for us to be like, oh, good game. No, we whipped your ass. We took $800,000. Now we're partying with it.
Yeah, who cares if you're in the Power 5 conference if you don't win it ever, or you don't beat any of the teams in it? Like, what's the point of that? Wouldn't you rather win the conference and say, like, hey, my team is good, than lose the conference and say, well, our conference is good?
Well, I'll tell you what, I got two teams that got me gassed up. It's going to be a hell of a battle. Be like two dogs fighting over a milk bucket.
Look, they don't call me Tip for nothing. And my tip is, look out for the group of 5 this season. They've been taking it to the Power 5 year after year.
The only quarterbacks that ever get any love are from the Power 5. I could easily list off the top group of 5 quarterbacks I would rather have than those guys. I would be willing to bet that at least one of them is going to be in the running for the Heisman this year.
We are back. Conference championship week. 5 gigantic games in the group of 5 this weekend coming up. Group of 5 guys here. Matt Sprouse with you. Before we get started, make sure you like, subscribe, follow us, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the above. Let's go around the horn, see how everybody's doing. We only got a couple shows left for the football season here, but Jesse Grisham, it's always good to see you.
Sprouse, how the hell are you?
I couldn't be better. I mean, I'll tell you this. It took me approximately 13 hours to drive from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, back up to Columbus, Georgia yesterday or Sunday with Thanksgiving traffic. And, I mean,
took me approximately 13 hours to recover from dinner on Thursday.
Yeah.
A lot of iron, a lot of butter, a lot of sauce.
Did you eat the whole bird?
About a third of that bad boy.
Do you have more of a like you're with your in-laws, right? So you probably had more of the New Jersey style.
Had Jersey in-laws, dude. So down south, it's all about dressing. We had dressing and stuffing at this thing. Broccoli cheese casserole, little sweet marshmallow yams. So butter bird turkey, a lot of rolls.
Some raw hamburger sandwiches.
What is that about?
I honestly can't even explain it.
A little beef tartare.
Is it ground beef?
So this is how I got started. They are big beef tartare people, and they're Polish. So the way they see it is, we're Polish. We can't get sick. And they eat a lot of beef tartare, tuna tartare, which I had the tuna tartare with my father-in-law before. And somehow we got on talks about, I would eat beef tartare if we go to an upscale restaurant in New York City next time I visit. And my father-in-law was like, hell, 5-star, you got a butcher near here? And I was like, well, yeah, but I sure as hell ain't eating it. I thought that, they were all talk, and I was going to say, well, put your money where your mouth is to my brother-in-law. Next morning, we woke up to get some brunch. They went and got some high-quality grade meat from the butcher, slapped it on a piece of sandwich with a little salt, pepper. They ate it, man. And people from my social media accounts were highly concerned. I got so many messages, people just saying, like, are they okay? Are they fine? Hey, man, they can get really sick. And I showed them every message. They just laughed as they took another bite.
I'm sure you had all the Facebook medical experts coming at you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this wasn't just like some Publix, Joe Exotic thrown in the back of a truck and make a pizza out of it. It's just like, this is pretty good quality meat here. But yeah, man, they're the Polish don't get sick.
That's good.
But
to know.
we cooked. It was my dad. My dad was coming up, whatever. He was like, "Well, go ahead and put that bird on because I ain't like your father-in-law. I want my shit cooked."
Good stuff.
It went well.
Yeah. Well, Tyler Tipton, it's good to see you. I hope you had at least somewhat of an eventful Thanksgiving. Probably not like that one, but
No, we cooked all of our food. It was fantastic. It was busy. Had something going on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but it was a great weekend. Got to see a lot of family.
that I haven't seen in a long time. So it was a really good time. I hope all of our listeners and followers out there had a great Thanksgiving. Now let's get ready for some fantastic bowl or some the championship games this upcoming weekend.
Yeah, there's some big ones. Jeff Murphy, as always, it's a pleasure to see you. Great T-shirt, by the way.
I always gotta, represent for the forces. We got this new Space Force T-shirt. I picked this up a couple weeks back, but yeah, man, another great week college football, and guys, there's so much going on right now. The season's not even over. My head's spinning. You got coaches jumping ship here. You got players entering the transfer portal already. I can't keep up, but plenty of content to keep this thing rolling.
It is, I mean, this transfer portal. I was talking to some of the FAU and Middle Tennessee coaches this past weekend, and I said, do most players get left out when they enter the transfer portal? And
They have to.
Consensus was, yeah, most of them don't ever. They just disappear, and you never hear from them again. Basically, the coaches, I asked them how they recruit the transfer portal. It's basically, it's just a list. And you've got to have somebody on staff that, okay, where'd they come from? Where'd they go to high school? What are their stats? What are their grades? Why are they transferring? And I mean, it's just a whole nother aspect of a college football coach right now. So,
well, you saw also how you can get burned a little bit in the transfer portal, and we saw that with MTSU, had that kid coming in and ended up just being a complete bust. So,
well, and that's got to be part of the research, right? It's like, everybody's transferring for a reason. And I mean, we've seen both sides of it this year with guys like Starkle that find a home on their third or fourth spot and end up having great years. And then you have the guys, like Jaron Pierce goes to South Florida and plays half the season and he leaves there too. So it's just, you gotta be really on your P's and Q's on that. Zeke Anderson, we didn't forget about you. How are you, good sir?
I am great. I spent my Thanksgiving Thursday night at a Hooters in Augusta, Georgia. It was the only place open to watch some ball, and strolled right in and had plenty of characters to watch the game. So the Cowboys, if y'all remember that
I
game,
wasn't expecting that.
if y'all weren't remembering the game, I stroll right in, and there's 2 seats at the bar, and I happened to drag Olivia in there with me. I'm like, Olivia, it's the only sports bar open in Augusta, Georgia, because we had to do the boat swap. And then we walk in, there's only 2 seats at the bar, and the fella, I'm like, hey, you mind if we slide in here? He's like, I got 2 buddies coming back. I don't know how long they'll be. They're partaking in some activities. And I was like, can we sit down or not? And he's like, go ahead and sit down. And then he wants to tell me his quarterback analysis on Derek Carr and Dak Prescott. So I appreciated that.
I can only begin to speculate the kind of people that spend their Thanksgiving dinner at Hooters in Augusta, Georgia. Because from what I understand, Augusta, Georgia, unless it's time for the Masters, you really ain't a whole lot going on. So I mean, but I guess, hey, Zeke, you were in there.
So. On top of this, I ordered some wings. They came back 20 minutes later, and they're like, what flavor did you order? And then they went back, and then 40 minutes later, they came back and said, oh, we're out of wings. I was like, you know what?
Wow.
Just cash me out on the Bud Light, and
Hooters run out of wings. It's like Walmart run out of walls.
Well, the fact that it's not like I get they ran out of wings,
pretty good.
But it's the fact that they didn't know they ran out of wings until I'd been there an hour.
Well, I'm sure you didn't have your weekend staff in there. You probably had, your secondaries. And I apologize that you had to go through that, especially on Thanksgiving. We have so much to be thankful for, and here you are, can't even get a good chicken wing.
Yeah. But those shorts wasn't thankful. They were hurting.
Well, I mean, I would just go ahead and give the Hooters in Augusta the atrocious award, but I'll tell you what, Jesse, this guy, I mean, these two, we've always known that Mel Kiper and Todd McShay were two of the biggest idiots in all of sports media, but Todd McShay has one-upped himself.
I thought Todd McShay always kind of put on an act for like the NFL drafts and stuff. I thought that him and Mel Kiper were just competing just for just claps and laughs. But he for sure this week gets the Atrocious Award because I'm under the assumption now, in realization, that he's eating out of the same porridge bowl as Lee Corso. They're over here sharing lunch together over at the retirement hall, and they're talking some just idiocracy about, well, Ohio State, they probably should be in the playoffs because they're just more talented. They got better players. We shouldn't even play the football game, I guess, Sprouse. We shouldn't even dress up because I'm pretty sure Ohio State was probably more talented than Michigan. I'm pretty sure that Mississippi State was more talented than Memphis. I'm sure that Notre Dame more talented than Cincinnati. More talented doesn't mean you're better. Doesn't mean you're better. That's why they call coaching. That's why they call practice. Practice. They have practice. People actually get better, play as a team. Todd McShay, if you can get paid a really good salary for saying stupid shit like that on ESPN, then I need a job because I can go out there and say idiocracy stuff. Hell, Hooters ran out of wings. Give me $100,000. This is just retarded. And Todd McShay, you're atrocious. ESPN, give him a drug test because something's going on with that guy. Something's in his bladder. It's atrocious.
It's atrocious. It's atrocious.
I mean, yeah, it's bad. And Mel Kiper got famous because he once blasted the Indianapolis Colts for drafting Marshall Faulk. Maybe you've heard of him. And Mel Kiper thought they needed Heath Schuler to play quarterback. Maybe you've never heard of that guy. Well, Todd McShay has just had his moment, his Mel Kiper moment. And I mean, God bless you. Right. He needs to, and he ain't old.
No,
so something's wrong with him.
No, but he sounds senile saying stuff like that.
Yeah.
An undefeated Cincinnati team gets in the playoffs. I said it 4 weeks ago, but now it's clear as day. They beat Houston. They're in. They're in.
They gotta be.
Come on, Tip. What you got? I see you
I'm
shaking
worried.
your head over here.
Tip, what's your scenario that Cincinnati does not get in?
It might be a hot take. I don't know, but there is one scenario that I could see happening that would make me very nervous of what the committee's what they're gonna choose to do. So, in this scenario, the most recent rankings haven't come out yet, obviously, after the Ohio State loss against Michigan. I'm assuming Michigan's going to jump up to number 2, and you'll have Bama at 3, Cincinnati at 4. I think if this scenario happens, if Alabama beats Georgia, both Alabama and Georgia are in. So there's 2 spots right there, full. If Michigan beats Iowa, they're in. So that's 3. If Cincinnati loses, they're out. But if they win, and then if you have Oklahoma State win against number probably 7th or 8, probably 8 ranked Baylor, that would be 2 top 10 wins for Oklahoma State in the last 2 weeks, and would make me extremely nervous that they would put Oklahoma State in at number 4 and would leave Cincinnati out at number 5.
But you're counting on Alabama beating Georgia, which it could happen, any given Sunday. But
I mean,
Georgia's really good.
They are. If Oklahoma State, see you, Jess. If Oklahoma State,
see you later.
Out Baylor,
everybody's got to hurt.
And if Cincinnati, dude, the problem with Cincinnati right now, at least the problem with what the media is saying about Cincinnati, is I watched the college football final show with Jesse Palmer and those jokers, and they literally showed back to back. They showed Cincinnati beat East Carolina by 20 points, and Jesse Palmer said, "I mean, we're still waiting on Cincinnati to just dominate somebody," and then right after it, they showed Alabama beat Auburn's second-string quarterback on one leg in overtime by
4
2
overtimes.
points. Yeah. 4 overtimes. They scored 22 points, 24 points, something.
Yep.
Not a lot of points. And Jesse Palmer's like, Alabama just keeps finding a way to get it done. And I was like, dude, are we in the Twilight Zone?
Well, I think that goes back to kind of what Tip was saying the other day is, people are looking at resumes, right? Like, who are you beating on resumes? Like, Jesse Palmer doesn't know dick about ECU. He doesn't know what their potential is and how good their offense is. So when he sees ECU, it's not a big name team. And if they win by 20, he thinks, oh, well, they should beat them by 50 because I don't know anything about ECU. But and that's the sad part about it, and that's the whole point of what we're doing. So
Jesse Palmer was once the Bachelor. So now they got this guy telling us what he knows about football. And ECU, you guys know ECU's a damn good ball club. At least in the Matt Sprouse book of betting.
And we knew that game was going to be close. Like, we knew ECU was going to give their all.
I mean, they're a respectable ball team.
Yeah, they're damn good.
Cincinnati played a great game. I mean, they played with as much pressure as they have on them right now to finish undefeated and do something that's never been done in Group of 5 history. Like, they played an incredible game.
When you talk about all these playoff scenarios, I mean, the main thing for Cincinnati, they got to beat Houston. And I mean, it's the biggest line of the whole weekend. Cincinnati at home is minus 10.5. Over under on its 54 points. Jesse, I'll go to you first. Do you think Cincy takes care of business or what?
Yeah, man. I think their heads on straight. It's on a swivel. Does that make sense? Yeah, they're not going to let Houston upset them. I think they're ready to, get to the playoffs. I mean, they've been working so hard for this all year long. If they were going to get upset, it already happened, in my opinion. I don't think they're going to wait till the championship game to get, beat. Their head coach is staying. They got all their players. They're healthy. They're one of the top 4 teams in the country. They're better than Houston. And, like ESPN says, if you have better talent, you should win. So I'm going to go with Cincinnati and probably taking care of them in pretty good fashion. I'm saying like 2 touchdowns.
I like it. Tip, what do you think?
You could tell in the locker room for Cincinnati after their win against ECU this past weekend how fired up they were and excited and ready, in my opinion, for this conference championship game. So I'm going with Jesse here. I think they're ready to play this. I think they're going to win by. I think they'll cover the 10.5. So I'm going with Cincinnati.
Murph, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. I think Cincinnati's playing their best ball right now, which is what you want going into the championship game, getting ready to go into the playoff, hopefully. And I think they cover that 10.5. I really do.
Zeke, what do you think?
I like to think that this conference play is going to be a little bit tighter. And what happens if Cincinnati doesn't cover the spread, right? Is that added pressure? Say they come down and the game is tight at halftime and they end up winning by 3 points going into the game. I mean, or at the end of the game. What is that? Does that change anything from them if they're undefeated or if they win or they in? Because I think that determines a lot. Because is that 10.5? Is that the pressure? Is that what they have to win by?
I mean, I think that's the scenario Tip brought up. I think Oklahoma State could potentially jump them if this game is tight. And I think Oklahoma State would have to blow out Baylor, which they very well might. I mean, I don't think that's right. I think an undefeated Cincinnati should get in. But I'm going to tell you, man, X factor in this game, Marcus Jones, kick returner, punt returner for Houston. He's got 2 punt returns for touchdowns this year. Look out for him. But I think this game is close early, like super close, slugfest, low. I think low scoring. I'd take the under in this one. But then I think Cincy pulls away. I think similar to the ECU game, right? I think it's close. It's a pretty good game, and then end of the game, Cincinnati's like, okay, we'll flex a little bit here, and then they pull away.
So honestly, I don't think they covered 10.5. I mean, that's by 2 scores, And I think the reason B is exactly what you said. I think it's close early because I think with a game like this, you can't be too aggressive. I mean, your goal is to go out there and win the game, right? So if you go out there slinging it early and you have a couple early turnovers, all of a sudden now you may not feel like it, but if you're tied up going in, if you're tied up 3-3 going into halftime, you feel like you're behind. And that's a position you don't want to be in. You want to feel like you're in control of the game. And I think that is why Cincinnati doesn't cover.
Yeah, and
Zeke, did you change the settings on your mic? Because I don't know if anybody else hears that, but like anytime he turns his head, he's like in and out real bad.
I did. Is that better?
Yeah, that's much better.
All right.
Where are we picking up at?
Just right where you were. Just go. Sorry, I know we would go the whole episode with that like that.
Yeah.
And then
I appreciate you telling me that.
That was my bad. I told him to change it because it was doing. I thought it was doing the same thing in that other setting. So we were trying to get him. We were trying to get it to where it was sounding better.
I think it's good right now where it is. So,
I don't know where that. Did you cut me when we were done talking?
We're still recording. I'll splice it. We're good.
All right. Yeah, I mean, and the thing is too here, guys. So like, if Baylor's going to be 7 or 8, probably the AP. I mean, Houston's 16 in the AP right now. So like, when else would you see a team have to beat a top 20 team by double digits in a conference championship game in order to and be undefeated in order to make the playoffs? So that's where like the narrative's already starting. But
yeah,
but I think if you're Cincinnati and if you're probably every single team in the country other than maybe a Georgia or Alabama this year, your original goal is to win the conference. And so like I think you guys are right there. Like they're going to be focused enough on this game. And I mean, if you're a 12-0 team that just beat an 11-1 team in the conference championship, I mean, I don't think you have anything to prove as far as points. That being said, yeah, I mean, I do think it's going to be kind of a close game. I'll tell you, so going back to me going to FAU this weekend, I do want to recap that a little bit. First of all, shout out to Coach David Kelly for the tour on Friday morning. Awesome tour, better than I could have imagined. Brought my old man with me. He was pretty impressed with the facility and everything like that. And met Hines Ward, NFL Hall of Famer, legend, wide receiver coach at FAU. So
big time. That
was pretty cool. And then I mean they've got a star-studded staff, and then they got Mike Stoops as the DC, and so there, and then of course Willie Taggart's the head man. So they got a lot going there, and they're really young. Their team's really, really young. You saw some of that in the game, but facility-wise, I mean they got big-time stuff. Their game day room or team meeting room, in my opinion, is the nicest one that we've seen this year. I think just from the size of it, the screens, the number of chairs, number of seats, I think that team meeting room was one of the best ones. Weight room wise, it's big. It's kind of weirdly empty. They did talk about having to like move stuff around quite a bit. I think they could use some new equipment, some new power racks, and just actual equipment. But like I was talking with those coaches, I mean that's just for the looks. I mean, barbell weighs what a barbell weighs. So,
the Star Atlantic, is it right there on the water? I can't remember.
Stadium is 1.8 miles from the beach. Yes, they got signs all over the place that say it.
Okay.
And you can see, if you're in the press box, you can see the ocean. But as far as like looking out the window, I mean, there's palm. I mean, that part of Florida, there's palm trees everywhere. I mean, it was, dude, Thanksgiving weekend. It was in the day. I think it was 79 degrees when I got there in the afternoon before kickoff. It got a little chilly for South Florida. It got pretty damn chilly. Like second half. I mean, it was probably. Don't make fun of me here, but it was probably like mid 50s. I was cold. I was a little bit chilly. And then I mean, all their stuff is nice. It's pretty nice. Talks about an indoor. They miss a lot of practice because of lightning down there.
For sure.
It's not a temperature thing or really anything like that. It's just a lot of lightning down there. And then talking with the coaches, them being so young, right? And then they're already limiting padded practices in camp and spring. And then somebody moving some furniture around. So an indoor is much needed.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
I hate to interrupt you, but so how's the local talent there? They got pretty good athletes walking around.
How's the scenery down there?
What are y'all laughing? I'm talking about the players look good.
I'm not sure if you're trying to be discreet about something here, but as we know,
discreet. I just want to know if they were just good players. I mean, are they big?
Yeah, I mean, even from our time in the playing days, you always knew, the South Florida schools were gonna have talent all over the place. Regardless of how they were performing on the field, they always had good.
They always look good.
Yeah, they always had good players. Still not sure what we're talking about entirely.
I don't either.
That Hooters down there is a little better than the
They sure they
don't run out of wings. I can tell you that. Yeah.
They do not run out of lemon pepper wings down there.
That's funny.
But yes, to answer your question, the players look the part.
Well, in all seriousness, too. I mean, did you get to see any of the players on the FAU's team? They like when you did a tour, did you see in the locker room? I know, smart ass. Like in the locker room, did you see them there?
Yeah,
I'll say this in the past when I played FAU, I always thought they were always a little undersized. I mean, they look like a little bigger. Because we saw them play UAB, bigger, we were up there. I couldn't really tell.
Yeah, we were in the press box. Bigger, I wouldn't say that. They definitely got some speed all over the place. Just being up close like that, and they had a couple big plays where Perry threw some bombs, and they were just. You look like, where the hell's the DB on this? But they got a damn nose tackle that is a monster. I can't remember his name. I think he's number 8, but he's
a single number player.
It's all anytime you get a single digit defensive lineman, it's a problem. But he was killing them up front, putting pressure on the quarterback. So he was the only one that you like look out there and you're like, man, that guy's big. But
they've always had speed, though. I remember playing them, and that was always. Both of the Florida teams that we played, and it was just like get ready because they can run now. Can they put it all together? And speed kills, but it only can go so far. But
yeah, and they, like I said, they're young, so I think they're going to be really good. They're all excited about the move to the American coming up, which should help kind of finish some of their facility projects. As far as tailgate, I'll be honest with you. I was down there visiting family, so I wasn't really trying to go tailgate. But that being said, I got there 2 hours before kickoff. Tailgate was relatively non-existent. There's a few tents, but it's a few tents out, and people drinking, having a good time. But there was not like that one big lot where everybody was tailgating.
Right. You got your Thanksgiving week too,
right? Yeah, and talking with the coaches, they were one of the places that got hit really hard with COVID as far as students being on campus for classes and everything. So you not only have a pretty much commuter school in a big city market with all the professional teams, plus 5 or 6 other Division I football programs in the state. That's a fight they're fighting. And
there's just so much to do down there too.
Yeah. Well, I guess it was 79 degrees in the day, so you can't get that anywhere. And you're a mile and a half from the beach, so you can't blame people for doing that when you got 2 teams that are both 5 and 6. But
can we ask why FAU is playing Middle Tennessee during rivalry week?
I feel like it's one of those things that Conference USA tried to manufacture a rivalry because neither team really had one that was bigger.
You got your 100 miles of hate. I just don't know why.
But if you look, I'm with you. But like Western's probably bigger rivals with Marshall than they are with MTSU.
True. Since coming
So,
into the Conference
yeah.
USA,
Their
Yes.
rival used to be Troy for MTSU. That
Yeah.
used to be the big one. But
Yeah,
it's Troy, Western.
you get that
Marshall.
with all this realignment. You get
yeah, Marshall's a good one.
But you got 3 picks. Why?
yeah.
Why FAU? But
Yeah, I mean, I think you just got the conference realignment. I mean, FAU and FIU is really the biggest rivalry
Yeah.
for those two. So
Yeah.
I don't know why they do it. I think just conference realignment kind of put them in a spot where they did it. And I don't know. Did they always play the last week of the year? I don't think so.
MTSU and Florida Atlantic?
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
No. I think MTSU's varies year to year.
So then just real quick on the game itself, the music at FAU is top notch. Great. Yeah, they do. That's their third down thing.
I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty. And then they got a burrowing owl comes up on the jumbo screen and turns his head all the way around and gives you a wink. But
terrifying.
Yeah,
And then-
but
Look like there's some light shows going on up there too.
they are all about them damn light shows. I mean, maybe too much. I mean, it was like a haunted house at many times. But
do y'all remember real quick? Do y'all remember playing Western Kentucky when they had Bobby Rainey and they just
Yeah.
played Make It Rain on Them Hoes
Ah.
just over and over and over and over?
That was tight.
I'll make it rain. I'll make it rain.
but yeah, DJ was really good, like loud, really good sound system, really good lighting system they got there. And there was a decent showing. I mean, for last game of the year, Thanksgiving weekend, I mean, there was probably butts in seats. I mean, there was probably 14 or 15K if I had to guess. It wasn't as terrible as it could have been. So, and then I mean, great freaking wild game if y'all saw it. I mean, Middle Tennessee, big comeback, couple trick plays and a scoop and score to get to the bowl eligibility there. So, but that's what I got. So once again, thank you FAU, Middle Tennessee, as always, for supporting the Group of 5 guys. We certainly appreciate it. Shout out to my nephew. He enjoyed himself getting to be on the field for a little bit and see those guys. But Conference USA championship game. I mean, UTSA freaking lays an egg and ruins an undefeated season. North Texas. I mean, they just looked. I don't know, y'all. I mean, what happened?
Their second loss is coming up.
Yeah, it very well might. I mean, Western is about as hot as anybody in the country. They have not lost since they lost to UTSA when y'all went up there, and that y'all know that was
Yeah. Well, let me say this, and I'll touch base on both teams here, but Western started slow out of the gate against Marshall, and honestly, if Grant Wells doesn't get hurt, I don't know how that game ends up. So it ended up working out in their favor, and nice little money line bet worked out in my favor for the Hilltoppers. But both teams not a great showing. I mean, WKU got the win, but yeah, UTSA. I don't know what the deal was on that, and that's a type of loss, especially losing your undefeated season, that could carry over. You want to be playing your best ball going into the end of the season, not having a loss against North Texas like that. So.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, you go from a potential New Year's 6 game to now, at best, you're playing in New Orleans, maybe.
It demoralizes the crap out of you. I mean, for me, again, I have no coup. I mean, once I get knocked down, I stay down. This is going to just kill their practice this week. They're like, well, hell, what's the point? What's the point? We're not going to go to New Year's 6. And, they may have some leadership in that locker room. I hope they do. But you're going to have to go play Western Kentucky now. Whenever you look at Western Kentucky, Marshall, Jeff, I think it's two totally different games, because you have a rivalry against Marshall. Look at Auburn and Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan. Those games, you just never know who's going to win. You got to show up. You got to show up and play on the field. Marshall is a better team than North Texas, in my opinion, as well. And I think Western Kentucky just shows how good they are by coming back and getting that win. UTSA opened up the box, dropped a turd, handed it over to the Conference USA, saying, all right, look, we're done. We don't want to go to the New Year's Bowl. San Diego State's over there going, let's go. We're gonna go beat Utah State, and now we're gonna go to New Year's Six Bowl. UTSA, have fun at the GoDaddy Bowl. It's frustrating to say the least, but
we'll see how they
respond.
Western comes in 1.5 favorites. It is at UTSA. Over under is 72. Keep in mind they put up 98 last time they played, so I would say take the over.
I took it.
Yeah. I mean, Bailey Zappi's leading the country in passing yards. I mean, their offense is lighting it up, absolutely lighting it up. And I mean, I hope we're all not going to sit here and say Western, but I have a feeling we're all high on Western. So, Jesse, you got them?
Yeah, don't overthink it. Western Kentucky.
Yeah, Tip.
I'm rolling with my dark horse. They keep rolling and they win. And to point something out, you talked about how good their offense has been doing. The line for Western Kentucky total team points for this game is at 36.5. I would take the over.
Yeah, they've not scored less than 31 this entire season. So I would think that's a pretty safe bet, Tip. Jeff, what do you think in this one?
Yeah, I think Western wins. One thing, if UTSA watches the game film from Marshall, they'll notice in the beginning of the game, I mean, they dared Western to run the ball on early downs, and I think that's why Western was so slow, because they were dropping 7, dropping 8, making it, taking up the space in the secondary to kind of slow Bailey Zappi down. So if UTSA kind of schematically tries to do what Marshall did last week, I think they got a good shot. I mean, we know their offense can score points, but I mean, I'm going to take Western just because I think it's really hard to slow them down. And that loss last week I think that kind of hurts UTSA. So Western Kentucky.
Zeke, what do you got?
I think that if they do take that strategy, UTSA takes that strategy that Marshall took against Western Kentucky, I think that's your only worry about that over. But I think WKU can throw with them, and I think UTSA is going to have some trouble because Western did a pretty good job when we were up there watching that game of stopping Cincy and McCormick and making them throw the ball, which they answered very well.
Very
They
much
did.
so. Yeah, Frank Harris threw for
But
about
I think
350 yards that game.
I think UTSA hung with them, but I think your worry if you're betting on that over is if they do what Murph said and forces Western Kentucky to run the ball. I think you got a little worried on that over, but I'm going Western Kentucky and the over.
Yeah, I'm right there with everybody. I think UTSA's only shot is to have success running, and they've got to be patient. If I was them, I would hand the ball to McCormick 35 times, and I would just 4 yards and just like make that.
That didn't work last time though.
Yeah, I know, but you don't want to get in a shootout with Western, not again.
Yeah,
you ain't. I mean,
you say it didn't work, but it kind of did.
Yeah,
they won.
Well, yeah, they
I went at the
won a
game.
shootout.
I didn't see. I know they had to throw the ball.
Yeah, I mean,
if I can just jump in real quick again, if I'm UTSA and I'm with you, Sprouse, you pound McCormick as long as you can, because what you do is you control the time of possession and you keep Bailey Zappi on the sideline. Now, if there's stuff in the run and you got to throw it, you got to throw it. But I think that's what they should do, at least to start.
Yeah, and I mean, keep them off the field. Try to keep them out of rhythm as much as you can, and then you hope that it's a game where you stop them once or twice, you can win the game, and because you're not gonna keep stopping them. But anyway, I say all that to say I like Western too, man. I just think they're too hot. They score too many points. This might be. I hope we get some disagreement on the Sun Belt. First things first, though. I mean, Billy Napier. I guess congratulations. I mean, I already blocked and reported you as spam on all my socials, but Florida, I mean, I guess it's a promotion. You go from one swamp to another, and you go from being top program to middle of the road. But hey, it is what it is. Congratulations to him, and hopefully, I mean, I don't think Louisiana's going to make a bet. I think they're going to get another good hire. But I mean, this coaching carousel is going absolutely nuts. Every time I look at my phone, there's a new brand name coach going somewhere else. So, I don't know what's going to end up happening, but he is going to coach this game. They're hosting App State. I mean, they smacked App State around earlier in the year, but App State comes in as 3-point favorites on the road. Well, let's start with you, Jesse. What are your thoughts on this one?
Thoughts on Billy Napier? I'm just going to I'm just going to not comment on it. Louisiana, I think that. I know that we have fans with Louisiana. I know that I have friends from Louisiana now. I chose them to beat App State last time. Not going to happen this time. App State wins. App State might win big. Sean Clark is probably embarrassed from last time. People are probably practicing in shorts, getting their guys nice and rested up. Sean Clark is doing 3 periods of inside this week. They're getting physical, ready to roll. And as a former player, it would just be really hard for me to just listen to my coach talk to me, get me ready for a game after I know that he's leaving. And I know that the game's changed, he's not deserting the players, but it's still going to be hurtful for those guys that came there as freshman and sophomore. I know that Billy's doing the best thing for him, and congratulations, Billy. I guess I'm commenting about it. He deserves it. He'll probably do great in Florida. But for the Louisiana fans and faithful and the players, it's going to be hard to go into host App State and pick up this win on a hungry Sean Clark fed Mountaineer team. So I'm going to App State.
Yeah, and this is another one, just like Western Kentucky hadn't lost since they lost to UTSA. App State hadn't lost since they lost to Louisiana.
Hard to beat two teams. Beat the same team twice, especially when they're a talented football team.
Yep, it's probably the hardest thing to do in sports is beat a good team twice.
And taking off tape.
Taking off tape is brutal.
It sucks.
I mean, they got those stupid. What are those things called?
Sharks.
The shark, the little knife.
They never work. I swear they dulled mine down before every day time just to watch me on camera try to get that stuff off.
Were you were always a tape guy, or did you ever go ankle braces?
I was a tape guy.
Yeah,
I was ankle braces my younger years, and then high school I was all about the spat. And then when I had Robbie going there, just massaging my ankles, he was just going 500 miles per hour.
Yeah,
just kind of fell in love with it. But
That guy's a legend.
off, taking it off though, golly, I still got scars on my ankles trying to just cut those things off.
Yeah. I mean, the ankle braces weren't easy either, though, because you had to untie them all the way down to you take the laces all the way down to 2 or 3 just to get them off. I mean,
it was funny. You have some guys that were like, you had to either get your ankles taped or ankle braces. You had the guys that would wear 2 pairs of socks, just say they got their ankles.
Yeah, say they got them taped.
Yeah.
See, I would always go, what do they call it? Basketball tape, which was just the flex tape.
I remember that.
That's what I did.
I hate being concerned. I hated knee braces. I hate tape. I'd go out there and am low top, Nike Vapors if I could. But yeah. Anyway, what were we talking about? App State and Louisiana.
My weak ankles.
Tip, what are you thinking in this game?
Like toothpicks.
So last time these teams played, Cameron Peoples did not play for App State. And you also had 4 turnovers. You had 2 fumbles and 2 interceptions in that game for App State. But I'm sorry, my App State brothers and sisters. I think just Louisiana is the better team, and I think they'll be ready to play, even with Coach Napier leaving. I think they'll be ready. They ran the ball extremely well against App State last time they played, and I think Levi Lewis can beat them both with his feet and also in the air. So I'm going Louisiana.
Murph?
Damn, Tip. You got here swaying minds. Man, this is going to be such a good game. I'm so excited to watch this game. I mean, you have really the 2 best teams in the conference going at it. And I think it's going to be way closer than last time. And App State's they're always a little undersized on defense. And I think that's why Louisiana ran the ball so well against them. And I don't think there's much you can really do to fix that, other than I think it's going to be tighter with the less turnovers. I don't think they'll have 4 turnovers. App State and Cam Peoples definitely helps. And I have not been high on Louisiana all year. I thought they have not played well. But I will say this: when it is a big game, especially in the Sun Belt, they seem to rise to the occasion, and it's at home. So I think these guys want to send Napier off with a win in the Sun Belt Championship game. So I'm going to go Louisiana.
Ooh, Zeke.
You know, I've been given a tip, but I'm going to give you fellas a tip. Check your asshole, because the Mountaineers are coming money line, and I'm going to pick them to take the spread. They're going to cover. The Mountaineers are not going to go into the Cajun territory 2 times in a row and get embarrassed. They're sick. They got a bad taste in their mouth. It's the culture. It's Sean Clark and all the people that we know. They're coming out here. They're going to win this conference championship. So I'm going to max bet App State, Louisiana to cover 3. Check it.
Now that you said they're going to cover.
They are fucking terrified.
Now.
Hey, and to all you App State fans who've been harassing my ass on Twitter, Coastal would smoke Air Force.
Yeah, I don't know where you came up with that idea. I mean, that's.
I was trying to spice up a little Twitter feed, and next thing you know, I've got App State jumping in on a Coastal Air Force.
You can't
line up.
You cannot. Everybody in the Sun Belt hates Coastal. It's the only thing that Georgia Southern, App State, and Louisiana fans all can agree on is that they don't like Coastal. Good for Coastal, though. They play the villain well.
I got 1 like from a Coastal fan, and I got harassed by App State.
I mean, here's the deal, guys. I will be in Lafayette for this ball game, and I'm real nervous for what I'm about to say right here because I think there's going to be obviously a lot of Louisiana fans. I think there's going to be a lot of App State fans that travel. The App State coaches have been great supporters of the Group of 5 guys. Louisiana, they're going to hook us up with a facilities tour, probably get some gumbo, probably get some seafood. And I'm going to have to pick against one of these guys right now in public. And I got to say, I think the Raging Cajuns get it done, boys. I think they do. I think App State, last year with the COVID year, they didn't have a Sun Belt championship game. There's been 2 previous Sun Belt actual championship games. Both were App State versus Louisiana. Both were in Boone, and App State won both of them. This year, it's in Louisiana. I think the Cajuns get it done. Super close. Look, hey, App State, love you guys. Sorry, I might even wear an App State hoodie or something. I might root for you. But I think the Cajuns win the game. Really freaking
I think I
game.
jinxed them, though. I've picked Louisiana
Sean
I've picked Louisiana every week. I called them beating Liberty. I called them beating App State. I called them beating Texas. Didn't happen. But I just don't blame me, Louisiana. Blame Billy, because I believed in Billy the most, and I think that he may have just planted the seed to just ruin the season.
You're nothing without your coach, Louisiana.
I mean, I think this is one of those things
good,
where
man.
everybody's thinking that though. Everybody's thinking you lost your coach. The game earlier in the year was a fluke. App State's coming in as the favorite. This and that. Here we go again. App State's going to beat Louisiana for the championship. And those players are sick of hearing it. And I think they're going to come in focused, but I can't wait. That thing is going to be a heavyweight freaking slugfest, man.
And I hope the fans show up. I hope the fans show up and show out in Louisiana. I mean, I know they got a pretty good faithful following, but by God,
need the students.
Yeah, show up.
So he possibly could be playing for a New Year's Six bowl.
Yeah,
possibly whoever wins that game.
One thing that I felt like really affected the game, I know we got to move on, but, App State couldn't establish the run early, so they felt behind, even though they weren't behind, and App State going up 2 touchdowns. But, they were never able to establish the run, which is their game. They want to control the clock. They want to control the football and not force Bryce to have to throw the ball down the field, and go 3 and out. And I think that's what really hurt them. So I think they've got a different scheme going into this game, and I think we're going to see a different game.
Yeah, to your point, Zeke, I mean, not having Cam Peoples was huge, in my opinion. He's their bigger running back. So when you don't have that guy out there, you have the shifty Nate Noel out there. He's 17 carries for 44 yards last game. He just
Talking about
Kneeling Noel?
Nate Noel. Yeah.
the same.
Kneeling Nate.
Yes.
Last thing on this game, if you like offensive line play, obviously Jesse and I both like offensive line play. You got two really, really, really good O-lines. So I'm sure if there's going to be NFL scouts there, they're going to be looking at some O-linemen in this one. So that'll be that. That game's 3:30 Eastern time, ESPN, by the way.
There you go.
Yes, it wouldn't shock you if that game was on Tuesday night.
I was about to say that.
Tuesday
I
night.
mean,
on
the same
CBS.
announcers,
the
was-
prime time.
same guys.
Yeah, you might
Niche.
have Tom Lubenfall or whatever.
Yeah, we have Coastal Carolina. Oh, I'm sorry, we got the Louisiana Lafayette Raging Cajuns.
Go to the MAC. My dark horse, Kent State. Well, they about blew it. They were up big on Miami of Ohio. Miami came all the way back, went to overtime. Miami was going for 2 in overtime to win it, and Kent State knocked the pass out. But that game is at Ford Field, Northern Illinois versus Kent State. Kent State 3-point favorites. Over under on this one, 72.5. For reference, they played earlier in the year. Kent State won that game 52-47. So it's 99 points that they put up. So I would say take the over. Pretty safe bet there. Both teams have lost since that game. It's the MAC, so they all go 6-5. We 6-6. We all know that. But I'll go with you, Jess. What do you got in this one?
I watched that first game like close and watched the entire one. I think it was a Tuesday night Maxi game. And your boy Dustin Crum is the reason they won. He had the game of the season for himself. I don't see him having that exact same game again, so I'm going to take NIU. I think this season's kind of been like an NIU storyteller, so I'm going to give it to NIU.
Tip.
Dustin Crum is back. He never left. We got Kent State.
I like it. Zeke? Oh, sorry, I skipped you, Jeff, but we go to Zeke first.
Yeah,
Switch
go
it
to
a little
Zeke.
bit
I'll
there.
take the last.
Hey,
I'll take the
Grisham, I like you on the. I've been riding them Huskies all year, so I like it. I think it determines on which Dustin Crum shows up. But this team's been tough all year, and I think NIU gets it done.
Murph?
The clock has struck midnight on Cinderella's story. Kent State, Dustin Crum for Heisman, wins the championship game.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta go Kent State. I mean, I think I had Toledo winning the conference this year over Kent State, but since they didn't make it, I gotta go Kent State. I gotta go Dustin Crum. I mean, he hadn't really had anything where he's just like lit up the stat sheet this year for me, but he's been pretty good, man. I mean, it's certainly not a Heisman contender, certainly no Bailey Zappi type season, but he's been solid.
Very efficient. He's a game manager.
Yeah.
I'll say this too about the MAC.
Ain't no game managers ever won the Heisman.
Go
They
ahead,
win
Jeff. What are you gonna say?
championships.
No, I was going to say, I'm surprised that, and it's probably because we're following a whole lot closer, how much they run him. And he's not like he's not a massive guy. But
Yeah,
hey,
He sprung one against Kent State last time.
Last time they played,
It's like
4
60 yards.
4 carries, 72 yards, and 2 touchdowns
Yeah.
on the
Screaming, I
ground.
was like, no. I was gonna say this though about the old MAC. I mean, I know the championship game's coming up, and everybody wants to talk about how bad the MAC is. They got 8 teams right now that are bowl eligible to go to the, and they're going to go 8-0.
I just want to pull up the MAC standings
That's
before
what I
we
was just
go.
looking at.
Yeah,
8 of them.
But I'll tell you, we talk about Dustin Crum, but NIU's got Rocky Lombardi, Michigan State transfer, who's having quietly a damn good year too.
I like that guy.
He's got like bleach blonde hair. You'd think he was playing at Coastal Carolina.
Kind of looks like that punter for Georgia Southern a little bit.
Anthony Beck, I love that guy.
Yeah.
Great guy. That guy, I don't know who the hell he knows at the Blue Room, but they were feeding that guy free drinks all night. I was drinking half of them and like putting them on the table. He kept bringing them to me too fast. I said, bro, These are G&Ts, buddy. This ain't Natty Light. Like, we're gonna have to slow it down a little bit. But yeah, I got Kent State winning that game. I would take the over for sure. The MAC, if they don't like to play a lot of defense in the MAC. Mountain West Conference has been probably the best conference, most exciting conference all year long. It's been top to bottom, really good. It came down to 5 teams final week of the season. But the 2 that should have had it clinched a couple weeks ago end up still in the championship game, rightfully so. So you got Utah State. It's technically at San Diego State, but San Diego State doesn't have a stadium right now. So it's in Carson, California. San Diego State is 6-point favorites at home. They got it done against Boise. Kind of ugly again, but they got it done. Just go to you, Jess. What do you think on this one?
I'm pulling for Utah State to win this one. I'm pulling for them, and I think they're going to win. Mainly, I'm pulling for them because I don't want San Diego State to represent the Group of 5 in a New Year's Six bowl because I think they'll get washed because I don't like their offensive play. Because if Cincinnati beats Houston, I think San Diego State's going to be the next one in line and go to a New Year's Six. So I think Utah State has the talent. I think I like their offense better than San Diego State. I get their defense is top notch, but you just got to score a few more times, just a few times. Score a few times, you probably can hold them out of the end zone, and I think Utah State can get it done. Micah James, get them boys ready. Tweet, tweet.
Tip, what you got?
I've been kind of down on San Diego State the last few weeks. They just haven't looked that great to me, and they've just been winning these close games. But they looked good against Boise. Boise got off to an early lead, and they came back, and they looked like the better team. And I thought Boise was going to go in there and beat them pretty bad, to be honest.
I think you all did.
But Utah State,
you all or we all?
No, I picked San Diego State to win that game.
Okay.
Check the chart. Check the chart.
Good pick.
That Utah State loss to Wyoming is still just in the back of my mind. How bad they lost to Wyoming. So I think San Diego State wins this game, and I think they cover the 6 points.
Zeke, what do you think?
I'm gonna have to go against old Tip here. I got a wild hair. I think
gotta pluck it.
I think San Diego State. I think they slip up, and I think Utah State gets on them. I think Utah State money line.
Are you against Tip or are you with me? God bless. I've heard more crickets in my damn life. All right, Jeff, you're up.
I will not admit that I am with you.
Plead the fifth.
Murph, what do you think in this one?
They don't need a home field advantage. They don't need anything but themselves. I'm going sorry, Micah James, I love you, but I'm going San Diego State. They've been getting it done. It's been ugly, but they have been making plays when they need them. And Mountain West champs, I think, goes to the Aztecs.
Yeah, they've been getting it done. Brady Hoke, I mean, he goes back to San Diego State and just keeps them rolling. I mean, they held so. Boise's got one of the best receivers in the country, Khalil Shakir. He had 6 catches for 74 yards and a touchdown, but I mean, Boise only had 228 passing yards and 16 points last week. Utah State, Devin Tompkins leads the country in receiving yards. So that's your matchup right there. San Diego State's D and DBs going against that Utah State offense and that passing game. That being said, I mean, yeah, they just win. I mean, that's their only loss is to Fresno State on the year. I mean, I'd be happy as hell. I'd be happy as hell to let them get a New Year's game against who the hell knows who it's going to be. Probably Notre Dame or maybe it might be Alabama. But I'd take the Aztecs. But I'm taking the Aztecs. Sorry, Micah. Love you, bud. But you guys next year, you got Utah State in the running in the next couple of years because they weren't supposed to be this good this quick.
No. I remember sitting in the lobby in Las Vegas with Micah. I wish I had a couple more shots and he talked me into put money on Utah State to win the conference. Can you imagine what those odds were?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah. Speaking of odds, Zeke, you sent us a parlay for this weekend. You got it. You got it handy or what?
I got a little something. I tweaked it a little bit from what I sent to y'all. So I got Western Kentucky -1 and the over of 72. I got App State -3. We know that. NIU +3, Utah State +7. So that is a $25 parlay to pay out $465. Keep it alive.
I like it. Well, that is all we got for you tonight. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Group of Five Guys. Make sure you like and subscribe on the YouTube, and the Spotify, all the above. Next week, we will recap all these games. Might do a little bowl preview show for you, so it'll be pretty good time. And then we'll probably take a break for a little bit. But as always, thank you guys for watching and listening. Group of Five Guys, we are out of here.